Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with Matt, Adam, Brian, Doug, and Freddie, where they discuss everything that matters in today's fire service. Now let's get to the show.
I just want to be here with you.
Inside you. Matt, sit inside you.
We are here at the South Atlantic Fire Rescue Expo. The whole crew is here.
The whole crew, all
The
together.
whole crew.
Yeah.
Yo, we are so excited. South Atlantic Fire Rescue Expo 2025. It's Brian, Doug, Sam, Matt, and Adam, the Cool Fireman Podcast. And we just wanted to get together and recap. I mean, we're just getting started, but recap this morning. Sam was the keynote speaker. Episode 73. This time last year, we sat down and we talked about what HiViz and FireTech is. And man, who would have thought a year ago you'd be up on the stage, the main stage, right?
It was wild.
It was wild. And we're going to talk about that
Cool.
a little bit later. But as a formality, we're going to go through our normal housekeeping and moment of silence. And so this is going to be, I don't want to say a quick episode, but we do want to make sure we go to our memorial service here on Thursday because that really matters a lot, which ties back into our moment of silence. So housekeeping, thanks, Unky, one of our sponsors. Gotta love him. UnkySeasoning.com.
The big gas.
The big box. Hey, you got any sales or anything going on?
Yeah. The Salty Fireman is still $5.99.
There you go. So go check it out, the Cool Fireman podcast, or go on UnkySeasoning.com. You can find all the links on all of those. And then also Tom from the Burn Box. Thank you, FD Collectors Club. Don't forget, this is a North Carolina special box this month. Or was that last month? Last month? June, July? I can't remember. But either way, it's there. Hold on. Here it is. Adam. Dropping. Nothing like a mid-show prop drop, right? Speaking of that.
Everybody's attention, don't it? Wow.
Speaking of that, special thank you to the North Carolina State Firefighters Association for allowing us to use this really cool setup. How cool is this? So awesome to be able to be here on the show floor and to be able to have what we have here today. So special thank you to them. And tomorrow we're going to be doing our class.
Oh, yeah.
3 to 5. You want to give them a little teaser, Matt?
Leadership, culture, and some tips, tricks on how to find your why.
Find your why.
Purpose.
Yes. So we're super stoked about that. So as we always do, we want to take and give a moment of silence. I know I've seen a couple of line of duty deaths come across my little wire in my office. Anybody got any this week that are close to them?
No, thankfully.
Yeah. And I want you to share your story about your line of duty death in Somerville. Not necessarily all the details, but I thought that was really a key connection of your purpose and your why today. So we didn't share that last year, and it made a big impact on me today. And so I want to hear a little bit about that here in a little bit. But
sure.
Your chief's name was Donnie
Suggs. Yep.
Donnie Suggs. So we're going to do it for him today. All right, let's give about 5 or 10. Amen.
Well said.
Well said. So for Chief Suggs and for those that we're going to honor here in a little bit, that was for them. All right. So let's talk about what is FireTech. So the then and the now. What was it like to be up on the stage, Sam, and talk to, I don't even know how many hundreds of people this morning?
That's pretty cool. I think, I do a lot of speaking around the industry, but not usually in big forums. It's usually small to medium-sized forums. And so that was a very different experience than I normally have. And it was great. I mean, it was cool because we started here in 2011 or 12, and it was like little booth in a truck in the back of the show. And then the business has grown so much that now, almost every vehicle in this room that we're in right now has something we make on it. And it's really cool to have had such a big difference. And so being on that stage, speaking to the people that helped us build this business was, I thought, particularly cool and an impactful thing for me to be able to do. So I enjoyed that a lot.
So I'm going to ask you, our listeners and the folks that are there, go back to HiViz or FireTech, whatever social media platform. You streamed it today on your Facebook page, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be in our group. And so it'll be on the FireTech Squad on Facebook. It's a closed thread. So you go, you click join in, and once you're in the group, it'll be posted in full 1080 raw form, so you'll be able to watch it.
So what I thought was really cool was you kind of gave a comparison of year one, which was the one behind that pillar. As I said, there's literally one of these pillars, and he showed the truck, that first year truck, and then the next 2 slides was last year.
Yeah.
Took a picture. and you did an arrow of every truck that your product was on.
Yeah.
So you went from just your single truck.
And we had zero stuff in the show that year.
Yeah.
It was like nothing.
It was nothing, 2011. And on the show floor, I bet you, I tried to count real quickly. I think it was well over 40 arrows as they were going.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, the SAFRE Expo floor is about 100,000 square foot. And I would say, as I'm looking around, probably 3/4 of it is full of fire trucks. So to have 40, and I couldn't count all of them because they were overlapped, 60 plus trucks to have it on there. I think you told us last year 85% of the market.
It may have even been higher. I think, when it came to just the Brow Light, which is it's our kind of flagship product, it was on 80% of the vehicles. But when it came to every vehicle that we could make something for, we don't make stuff for small cheese cars, but for big vehicles, every vehicle that had a spot for something we made had something on it. So that was the first time ever. It was 100% coverage. So it was really cool. So
That's insane.
Of the addressable market here, it's a small sampling. It's in North Carolina, but it was still holy cow! It was so wild to be able to see.
And that's your home show to have that representation.
This is our first show was here, and it was great to be here again and see such a big change. It's it's the accolades of all of the people on the team that aren't just myself. It's all of our sales reps, all of our dealers, it's all of our customers, people willing to trust us and try what we're doing. And it's not something that we can inherently control. We have to have buy-in from the people that are choosing to spec whatever they spec. And our stuff is not the easy choice. It's the default is always somebody else.
Yeah.
So you have to go in and say, I specifically want FireTech. And so everyone that was in this show floor that could have made that decision somewhere in the truck.
Why do you think? So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
From the then to the now.
Yeah.
To have that kind of a threshold, and I don't know if you're comfortable answering that question, but why aren't you the default? Are you comfortable to kind of give that?
Yeah, I can give you the backstory. So there's about 3 manufacturers that build the stuff that we make, lighting for fire trucks. And one manufacturer is significantly larger than the other 2 in the space. And the other 2 companies get fueled by the law enforcement market, and we only get fueled by the fire and ambulance market.
Right.
And so there's a lot more, historically, there's a lot more deep interconnection between the manufacturers, and because of the size of one of the players, that's changed a lot lately. Some of the major truck manufacturers have said, we don't want to be beholden to one builder, but it's the end user driving the spec, and the way that the business models all operated, that one manufacturer really was the only name in town for a long time. And we showed up and we took every single light that we took from one other manufacturer. And that's, I think it's great. And we're going to do it again with warning lights. We haven't even started beginning to see that because, we launched warning lights probably 3 years ago, but the fire truck backlog is 4 to 5 years long right now. So they're burning through that. And the other companies in the space, they make decent stuff. And the founders of those businesses are people that I hold in extremely high esteem. Some of them have passed on because they had very similar grit, integrity, work ethic, go out and get the job done. And those founders have passed on. Those businesses are now in the hands of other operators, and people are making the switch to FireTech. And so the default, a lot of it is legacy contract work, candidly. And I don't want to get into all the details of it, but there is some agreements that exist between the manufacturers. But as those expire, watch out, baby, we're coming. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
You probably can't hear it, but there's a perfectly timed song right now that is playing over at AES's booth. But anyway,
I might be able to hear it.
You might be able to hear it, but it is perfectly timed for this. I maybe we'll do that on the short. We can maybe put it on there, and that'll be one of our magic clips. But so these guys, they can interject anytime they want with any other questions. But
no, we can't.
No.
I know, but I just feel I'm so passionate about
all the people that are listening right now going, no, they can't.
No.
Brian's on a soapbox.
Yeah.
But I love your story so much. That's why I'm so driven by it, because having been on your show and such a listener of the 2448, which I encourage our folks to go back and listen. How many episodes did y'all have?
25 or something. It was a season of 20 and then a season of 18 or something like that. Maybe it was 35, but there's more coming. So we've got some more stuff patched up. We're getting ready to launch another season. It's just in the works. Not quite ready to roll yet.
No, I get it. And I know you and I had talked about it with the focus that you guys have had on the warning lights and stuff. That takes a priority, right?
Yeah, well, and then we got smoked by Hurricane Helene, and they put the whole business behind. So
through that.
all right.
So you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But I would encourage you so much to go back and, for our listeners, to go back and listen to the 2448 podcast, because there's so much value in, just the who Sam is. You tell your story in episode 1 and 2, which I would encourage you guys to go back and listen to that. but just your story in general. So let's talk about the how did you get there from there to here? From there to here that you share with us this morning.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I could talk about all sorts of stuff. My background, I was like a professional water skier that wasn't that good, so not really that professional at it. But I worked in the water sports industry, and I loved it. And before that, I was in biofuels, and before that, I was in stage lighting and sound. And so those three things, water skiing taught me how to work. The other ones really taught me the tech. And I merged all those together and begun building tech for fire trucks however many years ago. And if you look at that kind of like core set of skills or experiences, I had a business that failed, that didn't go so well. One of the biofuel businesses it failed. So when that happened, I learned a lot. I always tell people, like, it was like cost me the same in that business failure as a college education. And I learned twice as much as I would have in half the time. Right. So for whatever that's worth. But then, as the business scaled from our day one here at the show through to where we are today, I think the majority of it has to do with, I started learning how to be a firefighter. After I started the business, and then I didn't know anything about being a fireman. And then someone told me I didn't know anything about being a fireman. And I was like, all right, but this guy was a fire chief or the deputy chief. He's like, look, I need volunteers and you live in my town, so why don't you come down? I'll teach you how to be a fireman. So I learned how to be a fireman. And then I went back and retooled the business and begun addressing problems that I'd experienced firsthand. And when you take lived experience in real life and you take historic like tech stuff and then you marry those two together, I always tell people, like, if you took it's funny that audio is going in. If you took like automotive lighting and you took stage lighting and you take the Hummer experience and they all had a baby, you'd end up with a fire truck lighting company. Because the military vehicle side, the stage lights, like all the things, flashing lights, colors. So HiViz exists because of a group of shared experiences that existed. And and now here we are. So
let me ask real quick about the biodiesel thing.
Yeah.
My cousin had a little Volkswagen that ran on vegetable oil.
Yeah.
Did you always smell like chicken and French fries?
I smelled like wherever I got in the feedstock.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said I just always smell like fries and fried chicken.
I used to go to the Chinese restaurants. There's a trick for biodiesel or for vegetable oil. So like the Chinese restaurants always use really good oil and they change it often because you could taste when it started to deteriorate. Like the fast food places were trash, except Arby's. It was Arby's and the Chinese restaurants. Those were the ticket. And Ruby Tuesdays. Those are kind of my 3 honey holes for cooking oil. And you could smell the different feed oils depending on where I had stopped. And some of them had like, I can't remember which oils now, but some of the oils had more energy than others. And so you could get better fuel mileage on some oil blends. Like peanut oil or whatever, the ones that had a higher melting point where they ended up being better oils to burn.
Okay.
So they're a little more difficult to burn, but yeah. You learn a lot, but you smell like whatever you've been cooking in. So
can we go back to the failed business?
Yeah.
So this morning in your keynote, you talked about how the failed business drove you because it had your name on it.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk through that point? I don't want to give that example. I want you to give your example.
So the long story short is we had this business. We made biofuel systems and they were straight cooking oil, and the business effectively, I basically bought another company, and then some things that happened with some suppliers I didn't know existed, and it bankrupted the org. And so when that happened, like once you run out of money, like you can't operate the business anymore. So naturally, customer service stuff that is still outstanding remains outstanding forever. And that makes people angry. Right. And so we had some customers, we had this one guy that was so pissed that this fuel system wasn't working. And I always tell people, like, I'm not Jesus. I can't turn water into wine, and I also can't turn it into oil. And this dude kept putting water in his gas tank, and then the thing would blow up. And I'd be like, bro, you have to put oil in it to start. If it's not oil, it's not going to burn it.
Yeah.
So even something as simple as that, I would teach the guy over and over and over again. I'd teach him, like, stop doing that. You need to get better feedstock. You got to make sure it's clean. You got to get the water out of it. And then he'd throw it in there and it would have an issue. And there was some other stuff too. But I mean, when the business failed, that stopped. And I could no longer give instruction or carry on the conversations around, like, well, this is what you need to do to get it working correctly. So then the guy felt like we screwed him. And candidly, like, I mean, I don't know if that's true or not true. I can understand his frustration. And it sucked because the company name was Master Green Enterprises. And he put it online on all of, like, we had this story CNN ran on us, and it was this great thing. He was like, this company screwed me over. And so everyone that read that story, they Googled my name, they would see this angry customer feedback. And I don't think the customer was right, but I'd be frustrated too if I was him. And so that
perception is reality, right?
It is. It's like, okay, I mean, like, if that's when you Google my name, if that's what you see, then that's, I don't like that. So as HiViz started, I had brought in some product that was inferior to the stuff that we actually play with now. And it was like some Chinese copies. And I was like, well, let me just try to sell these things to get a free light bar for my big Hummer. And I was going to sell them to some friends or some towing guys and use the profits to pay for one for me. And I put the company name, HiViz Lighting, on these things. And then when I sold them and they failed, I was like, well, this company gave me a warranty and I was giving the customer the warranty, and I was comfortable doing that because I thought the warranty was good. And it turned out that that wasn't the case. There was no business model behind that warranty. And so when the customers had failures, they needed...
We are doing a recording. No idea.
Sorry. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
We do it live.
Yeah, we do it. We're doing it live.
It's all good.
So they... What was I telling you guys? I can't...
We're talking about the warranty.
So they cooked all this, trying to tell me, like, basically to ship a replacement was going to cost more than the light was worth. So then I had to figure out, like, well, shit, I've sold these guys. Can I sit down on your shirt?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I had sold these guys lights, and I was like thinking about this customer writing negative reviews. I'm like, I don't want negative reviews again. That sucks. So I ended up finding, I had bought some knockoffs from this legitimate company. I found a legitimate company. I ended up buying legitimate replacements to give to the folks that I had sold these ones that failed. And the hole that I had dug to buy a few light bars to get a free light bar for the Hummer just got a lot deeper. So I bought a bunch of replacements that were the authentic ones. I was trying to do it on the cheap ones, but then I had to buy expensive replacements for the cheap ones I'd already sold. And the spiral went on. And so what happened was, as I did that, I ended up becoming a distributor for this manufacturer that was based in Seattle. And that then gave me access to the product portfolio, which is what I started to build the FireTech brand on. It's changed now. We actually manufacture our stuff now. We own our tooling and our IP. But at the time, I found a manufacturer that was willing to work with me, and they were like, just stop buying knockoffs. Like, that's going to be an issue with us. And so when I begun warranting these things, I cleared my name. I brought better product to market. And then I begun building the business on that foundation, because I didn't want to have another situation where someone said, like, oh, this guy screwed me, because that isn't my ethos. It wasn't what I was trying to do. And when the other business failed, it was like the inevitable situation. I was like, never again. And so now that's why, like, our warranty is forever, no matter what. So, I mean, like, short of crashing the truck, but, and people do that. But, like, generally speaking, you have a problem with it. We have full-time EVTs on staff. They can do tech support. We'll send you a new one first. You switch it out, and then send you all one back when you're done. But the whole thing is, like, I want the ultimate customer service experience, and I can't guarantee things won't break. But I've built a business and a business model around the ultimate customer service experience, so that when you have a problem, like, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. And you're like, right, man, that was so easy. And that's
fast.
And that's because of those negative situations before that I didn't have the business wherewithal to know. And I learned that lesson the hard way. And now I'm not going to make that lesson.
Well, your mission statement, which you purposefully have your social team drop every Monday morning.
Yeah.
Right. If you follow their team, every Monday they share their mission statement, because Sam wants to be reminded of it. He wants his customers to be reminded of it. He wants his team to be reminded of it.
Yeah.
And it's there. But, for me, and I don't know what y'all took away from that story today, but I went to the place in my mind of the fire service about our legacy in service, right? And our desire to make sure that if our name is on it, right, we don't want to do wrong. I went back immediately, and I went back to a thought that I had of a captain. We had a garage fire. And there was this kind of, I don't want to say it was a hoarding situation, but it was, when you think of garage, you think
high content,
right?
Lots of fire.
Stuff was back in there. And I'll never forget, it was like this time of year, right? So it's super hot, Eastern North Carolina. Everybody's hot, everybody's sweaty. And so my lieutenant and I, we were on the truck company, so we were handling salvage and overhaul. Everybody else was repacking those except for this one section of line. And he comes in there and he goes, "Hey, are we good?" And I was like, "Yeah, Cap, we are." He said, "You said that kind of fast." He's like, "If we come back on a rekindle, it's hose lays for at least a month."
Yeah.
I was like, "Let me check one more time." And he said, "I thought you'd say that."
Yeah, exactly.
Because why? His name was on it.
Yeah. A rekindle is a great example. Like, nobody wants that.
Nobody
Or
wants
like, if you're...
it's a second fire.
Yeah, it's the worst. Yeah, nobody wants.
So I correlated your story to the company officer, right?
Yeah.
Of nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that failure, if you will.
We had a wreck today
with their name.
It's similar. Like, that could occur in a fire. It could occur in this particular wreck. Was like a pin job, catches on fire. We clear it, get the guy out. And it's like, is there someone in the back seat? Well, no, there's no one back there. I'm like, did y'all check? And everyone's like, yeah. We're going to check again. Hold on one second. Everyone down and checked. It was like, yeah, make sure we did that right, because I don't want to be wrong and you guys don't want to be wrong. And I'm not a company officer. I'm just a guy,
I'm just the guy. But I'm on this.
All of us were like, nah, none of us want our name attached to that thing. Let's make sure it's right.
Absolutely.
So as part of those failures, let's talk about the now.
Yeah.
So what does it feel like now that, I don't want to say there's not failures, because I'm sure you have an occasional disgruntled employee, or not employee, but a customer who, it does happen, right? With that kind of volume.
Extremely infrequently, actually. It's not.
I get it.
Yeah, it's been a really it's a blessing to be in the business space that we are, because first responders are, we understand the way that our customers operate, because many of us are in the same category. And like when there's problems, the problem can always be solved. Like in the biofuel world, I can't keep the guy from putting water in the gas tank, but I can, in the lighting world, if you ordered one of our products and it is on your truck, it should work. And if it works, you're happy. This is very basic. If it doesn't work, we can fix it and then it will work again. And so it's like in biofuels, it was like, what's the water concentration? How hot did you get it? What feedstock is it? Oh, that was so many variables that were impossible. This story of the guy that was on there was like, he had a 2008 model truck, which had the first DPF filters on them. So you blow oil that's the wrong temperature and consistency into them and they plug up, and it's like, it's not really, like, there were too many things that were variables. But with fire truck lights, they're either on and they work, and if they're on and they work, the customer's happy every single time. If they're on and they don't work, then we replace them forever, and then the customer's happy. The end. I mean, like, it's really not that hard. And if the
decision tree is short.
If the truck doesn't, if you turn the switch and the light doesn't work and there's no power to it, then we have an EVT that will help you get your truck fixed. But there is somebody that can solve 100% of the problems that we've ever experienced. And so, like, our angry customers are really not about the product. So it's like business process stuff. Like, oh, this thing took too long. It's like, all right, well, like it takes 5 years to get a fire truck. Can't you wait another 30 seconds? And sometimes the answer is no, because the downtime on a fire truck line is worth $10,000 an hour. So like, that's where we have, like, that's probably our hardest spot. But today, like, those are the issues we're dealing. It's not customers not happy because the light's not bright enough. We can melt your hair off, but like, can we get it to you on time? Can we make sure the right configuration and colors? Like, that's actually what it's not struggle with, but because we're growing at like 40% per year. And so every time we manufacture something or sell something, we have to now, like, imagine a brow light. This year we do 100 brow lights. Next year we're going to do 140. So I sell one, I build two every single time just to keep up with the growth. And there's different products that have different growth rates. But like when we're trying to forecast inventory, sometimes the struggle is like, oh, you're out of stock. And it's not because we like aren't manufacturing. We're increasing our manufacturing exponentially. I mean, we just built a 12,000 square foot extension on our building in North Carolina, and they're like, it's already full. Like, wait a minute, this is like 30 seconds ago. Now we're out of space. Yeah. And in our other plants, they're expanding and growing. And yeah, so your capital allocation changes. Back then, there wasn't capital allocation. Are you kidding me? I was like, time allocation. All I had was time. I had no money.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, we're going to allocate networking capital to this segment of inventory, and these are the number of turns we're targeting. And like the business is getting more and more and more math focused, and it's the math of scale that makes it difficult. And that's where we not struggle, but like that is what we're wrestling with today. Versus like we can make any light do anything, we can make it brighter than anybody else, or maybe at least the same level. But we've got the tech down, and now the business processes of the evolution.
I've never been in that. I never had to manage this, but I've heard that a lot of companies or companies that don't do well are most of the time because they have too much inventory.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what you're talking about?
You know what's funny? So we just launched warning lights maybe 2 years ago, and all of our competitors, like I know these people and they're good people, and every one of them that wasn't like maybe a senior executive was like, hey, the area where you're going to stumble is inventory, because you're going to have like red and blue, red and green, red and white, red and red, like that's one part number with 35 configurations.
Yeah.
So when we developed all the warning light tech, the number one thing I was worried about was, because of SKU variety, are we going to end up capital starved? Right. And I didn't want to dilute the equity in the business to raise external capital to do that. Sure. So this whole concept of 5 color light fixtures exists for a variety of reasons. But one of the underlying reasons why it's valuable is I can have 1,000 of the same part number, and you can configure them in software to be anything. And so when you look at, we run a very lean business with a business model that allows us to be flexible with those things. And some people say, well, yeah, but if it costs $100 to build a light that's one color, and it costs $125 to build a light that's 5 colors, right. My theory is that might be true, but the cost of the inventory that I'm going to scrap is going to be so high for all those other, it's going to be 10% of this part number and 10% of that part number. I would rather have simplicity than I would have like specific value optimized deal, because the fire truck is so expensive these days, whether a light's $100 or it's $300, like it needs to last forever. It needs to do everything the customer wants. Yeah. If we provide the ultimate experience and we're charged what someone's willing to pay, and it meets the basic needs of the business model, now I've got one part number per size, and I don't have any SKU complexity. I have no sprawling capital allocation. That's actually how we solve that issue. Yeah. Everything we're doing now is like, can I make this part number more simple and use software to configure it, not hardware? And that's as much as software companies.
You wake up at 2:00 in the morning, like, and like a cold sweat, and be like, how do I run more efficiently? I don't know. I feel like, you're talking about complexities and like grabbing from here, and giving them, like, you're running a pretty lean operation right now, right?
Far more so than other manufacturers in the space. It's actually very interesting. So when you look at like our business model, like the number of shows, number of hours, number of things, our products cost way more to manufacture than our competitors' products do. If you just look at a bill of materials analysis, probably 3 times as much. Really? But they sell for the same price. And so that means that the margin differential or margin is lower, which means that we have to operate a business which has a we're recording right now. Oh yeah, all those cameras are about to move. We'll just shake around. So you have to have a business that operates at a thinner raw goods margin. And so you can do that by having efficiencies in inventory. You can do that by having efficiencies in your team. So like we're a team of like 40 or 45 in North Carolina. There's more around the world. But when you look at what does that team of 40 do, we're competing with teams that are 3 or 4 times our size. Right. And the difference in what our team weight we can carry allows us to run a leaner business. Sure. But like, you don't see the FireTech brand just like buying everyone in town a steak dinner and an unlimited bar tab. And many of our competitors, that is the business model, is buy everyone's allegiance. You spend on them and then they buy your goods. But there's so much margin in it that it's worth spending up front. And my business model is build the ultimate product, run a responsible business, take good care of the customers. But I don't buy the allegiance of anybody we do business with. Every single like in this trade show has been bought and paid for. And if someone needs a hand, like, I mean, that sort of stuff naturally happens. But like, you only value what you've got skin in the game attached to. And so our business model is, it's a profitable business. Like there's no hole in that model, but there's no need to try and be like, okay, I've got to push my cost down to 0. And then I've got to have all this inflated extra margin so I can then just buy the allegiance of my customers. How about have the ultimate customer service experience, build products that are awesome, and that will win the customers versus my checkbook, which is paper thick.
Let the product speak for itself.
We've been talking for what, like 28 minutes or something like that?
Yeah.
I've heard you say over and over about customer. So yeah, to be honest, like that's very admirable. I think that I think this like not that long ago, because like it's not that mind blowing. It's not like rocket science like what we're talking about here is like taking care of the people that buy your stuff. I mean, and then that's gonna give you rewards somewhere else, and at a later time, like hello.
That's literally how you do it.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny. We talk about if you do good business and you put the customer first, like the business has to be profitable. If we're not profitable, it's a charity. And I'm not running a charity. So like this is
Perhaps one day UNICEF will.
Yeah, exactly. So like if we want to be able to maintain a high degree of customer service, we have to have enough profit to run a business that has a great customer service experience. But then I always tell people, like, when you do a good job, your customers will give you rewards. And those rewards are little certificates of appreciation with president's faces on those and the form of dollar bills. Right. And they will trade you over and over and over again for your goods and services. Right. And if you have that exchange correct, then that will sustain your business for a very long time.
And they will tell their friends about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to bring up too is throughout your speech this morning, there was a lot of great, things that we could pull from it. And one of them was how you never give up.
Yeah.
And the story that you told about the UPS, I was like, holy shit. Like that to me was a really cool story. And I mean, I don't know, we don't have time to like say the whole thing, but you can maybe share a little bit of the gist of what I'm talking about. But that was pretty cool.
I'll give you the high level primers. The very first FireTech Brow Light, I was making $10 an hour on the ambulance. So to build it required some tooling and some engineering. So I had like $5,000 of extra costs in the first one to come to market. So it was like 40 days of 12-hour shifts on the ambulance. So I would demo it around and our customers would, they want to see it. But I had a customer in New York that wanted to see it and I couldn't afford to get up there to go show it to him because I'd spent all my money on the friggin' light bar. So I was like, I'll ship it to you. And when I shipped it, it got lost. And I put it in a sprinkler pipe that had 2 pressure caps on it. And it just fell out. Like one of the pressure caps fell off and then the light hit the ground. And so the UPS lady was like, calling. I'm like, hey, the thing got there, but there's nothing in the box or in the tube. And she was like, that's too bad, whatever. Right. And they put a trace on it, and that just basically means they hang up on you. And so then I thought, well, there's got to be a way I can get a hold of these depots. And I thought I could ship a sign to the same address, and it would go along the same route. I thought just having a sign might be valuable. So I put a picture of me in turnout gear, wrote the story of the business, had a picture of the light that was missing, said reward, da-da-da. And then I thought, well, a sign's not really going to attract enough attention. And so I went out to the demo truck, and I took one of the hideaway strobes out of the headlight, and I stuck it in the box and wired it to a flashlight battery. And it was strobing red attached to this box.
On a box.
And it was on a UPS. I used to work at this water ski school, so it was a wakeboard box I got from April. Yeah. And I shipped this thing to the guy.
How did he even make it past the counter with plastic wrap? You just throw it in that UPS box.
Think about that.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
I literally had to grab the driver that was going to pick it up because it wasn't a UPS store. This is like, I knew the driver. And I'm like, hey man, listen, here's what's up. Like, I really need you to do me a solid and get this in the system. And he's like, All right. And so like I told that my kind of
Okay.
closing story on that. There's a couple lessons.
I can't guarantee it's going to get past
The deal is like when you get great favor by being attached to the fire service, the community trusts you probably more so than we have earned. It's like part of the nature of the gig.
Absolutely.
So like
through the men and women that came before us.
yeah, exactly, because they had high integrity. And so when I think about like the guy, if I would have told the guy like anything other than I'm a fireman on a firefighter's wage, I bought this thing and it got lost and I can't afford to replace it, the guy would have told me to pound rock. He's not putting it in there. But instead he's like, all right, man, I'll see what happens. And so like my message today, which I want to share with all of you guys too, is don't abuse that, because integrity really matters. Because if someone screws you, burn someone's house down, to get caught doing pulling someone over with your flashing lights, you're going to ruin it for all of us.
Yes.
So like the integrity in the industry and of being a firefighter, it's a blessing and a gift. And with great power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We've all been to that one restaurant or whatever that used to give us, a little break.
So, yeah, now they're like, man, you guys
But that one fireman just kept going back.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what happened to the? Oh, this guy screwed it up.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to hit or ask you to speak to the message that you gave. I know we're right at whatever we said we were at, about 30 plus minutes. So I want to make sure that you tell the people that are listening to our show the message that you told them today. What is the message that you have, not only for the North Carolina Fire Service, but for the whole world? There was the 3 C's.
It was courage, commitment, and community. I think that, like this community bands together and not just takes care of their own people, but takes care of their external shareholders. And I always call it's the customers, like the customers of the fire service, the people that call 911. But the firefighters do that so selflessly and with so much, you talk about like courage, commitment, community. They're there at 2:00 in the morning. They're there all the time, whenever you call them. And I think that my message is just like that this industry is worth supporting. And so if you think of business as a tool, and I think of business as a tool, it's a tool that can do good in the world. And there are people out there that think capitalists are all terrible people that are just trying to screw them over and that profit is evil. And I don't think that that's the case, because, the people in the industry that we serve do such good things in their communities and make big impacts in lives all over the world. And so for a business to be profitable and for a business to exist that can look out for those people and enable them to do more effectively, I think that that's a responsibility that we have. And candidly, all of the other manufacturers have as well. Some of them might or might not take it as seriously as I do, but I think that it's a community matters and the work that we do matters. And so using business as a power for good is something that I think more people should do and should lean into. And that's sort of the whole story of the 2448 is, what do firefighters do with their businesses? And those stories are like over and over again, big impact things that help people do good things in the world. And you can do it through charity. You can do it through education. You can do it a lot of ways. You can do it with the fire service, or a business can actually be a tool that makes a big impact. And I think that's why HiViz exists.
And that's the commitment piece, right? Just staying with it and keep grinding.
And coincidentally enough, right here in the Jimmy V area, don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Yeah. And that's 100%. We had dinner at Jimmy V's last night.
Sure did.
And we said that about 3 times in there, because I think that mantra is one word for me.
Mantra.
He's got to give me jab. So I asked you this question last year, and I'd love to know a year later, post Helene.
Yeah.
Right. Especially for you. You talked about that response up there. What does the vision look like for FireTech? I asked you that question last year, a year later, right?
Yeah.
Post Helene and with the growth.
Yeah.
What does it look like? Has it changed in 12 months?
It hasn't changed. It has gotten a whole lot more difficult, I'll be honest. Like as we're expanding, like if you're juggling 3 things is no big deal. You're juggling 4 things is no big deal. You're juggling 150 things. Like you can get more people to juggle it, but if 5 of us are juggling 3 things at a time, that's still 15 things in the air. And now we have a bigger team and we're juggling more items and we're doing it. But inevitably, even one person juggling 3 balls drops a ball. And if you've got 5 people juggling 3 balls, then you're dropping balls from time to time. And the trick is how many iterations or evolutions can I go through to keep the number of balls that are intended to be in the air off the ground? And so it gets more and more and more complex the more volume you have. It's just the comma just moves. Yeah. And so I think the vision for the business is the same. Like we intend to continue helping first responders do their job more safely and effectively after dark so they can save lives. And we're doing that by optimizing the value chain for the end user, for the dealer, and the truck manufacturer. And I think what has changed in the last year is there's now more focus on the truck builders trying to engineer and optimize efficiency and throughput at the truck manufacturer side versus just like, oh, customer wants whatever the customer wants, and therefore the customer is always right. The reason why we're in a 5-year backlog for fire trucks is not because truck builders can't build trucks faster. Truck builders have tried to sell customers trucks that are on the shelf every day of the week, and customers are like, I would rather wait 5 years and pay $3 million because I can't fight fire if I don't have a stainless steel door 3 inches to the right. Like, okay, are you sure? Because I can deliver you a truck tomorrow that has as much water and the same flow. Nope, in my district, it's not possible. Okay. So I've begun working with the truck builders to find areas for optimizations and efficiency that, like, I can give you the same functions, the same products, the same features. So you talk about these default statuses. Oh, it's coming, baby. So I can find, I found 11,000 days in the backlog with one truck manufacturer in this space, labor days, that are all attributed to complex electrical systems that can be simplified using software. I was like, 11,000 days. You divide that by 20 guys, it's not that many days, but that number of linear days and hours in a backlog, like, hold on a minute. Like, this is the type of stuff we should be talking about. And all that has to happen is the customer has to be open to a suggestion from someone. It's like, okay, well, you're saying I want this brand or this optic, but if I can give you, people get so focused on like, this is what I want versus here's the application I'm trying to use it in. And so if you ask for a very specific tool, they will give you exactly what you ask for. But if you ask for a very specific outcome, it's different than asking for the tool. And I'm hoping that as the business continues to grow, we can begin to educate the customer to ask for outcomes versus tools and allow us to pick the tool based on the outcome to get them to the finish line. And that's sort of where we'll go.
That's not how we've always done it.
Yeah, well, okay. 2,000 years.
I was getting ready to say it. We're so stuck on, but we've always done it this way.
But you know what, though? But we haven't. I mean, if you think about the fire trucks in the 1970s, you were ordering them out of catalogs, right? The Darley catalogs. I mean, my Valley department ran a county-wide spec that literally came out of the Darley catalog. But then we got into this, hey, we'll add this option and we'll add this option. And we've kind of come back to now full circle of saying, there's some people who are like, oh, I can't make this change.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's one of the very first fire classes I took, like firefighter orientation and safety, whatever it was, probably 15 years ago. This guy's like, hey, do you guys know the story of the Christmas ham? Have y'all ever heard the story? You look at Christmas ham? No. Okay, it's actually really funny. So the guy's like, look, so, there's this girl and her grandma, or girl and her mom, and they're cooking a Christmas ham. And so they've been doing this every year. It's a family tradition. And they pull this thing out of the fridge, and then the mom is teaching the daughter. So she says, first thing you do is you set it on the counter, put the pan down, put the ham in the pan, cut the end of the ham off, get the oven hot, put the thing in the oven, do the whole deal. And the daughter's like, Mom, why do we cut the end of the ham off? She's like, well, as I was learning this thing, Mom taught me. So I'm like, let's go ask Grandma. So they go like, oh, and she's like, but you have to. Part of the recipe is cut the end of the ham off. So then they go to the nursing home. They're like, hey, Grandma, we were cooking Christmas ham this year. And like, little Sally over here wants to know why we cut the end of the ham off. And the grandma starts laughing. She's like, what? What do you mean, why do you cut the end of the ham off? She's like, every year we pull this thing out and we cut the end off. And she's like, honey, back in 1960, I had a 25-inch wide oven. And so I had to cut it off and fit it in the oven. And it's like, sometimes you just actually have to ask, why do we do this?
Yep.
And if the answer is legitimate, then go for it. But if you walk through the fire truck,
wonder.
It's okay to challenge the process.
That's my favorite thing in the world.
It's okay to challenge the process.
Walk through the photo albums from a trade show 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and if you look at the front of a fire apparatus cap, every truck had lights that were shaped like a square. And every light that was shaped like a square or a rectangle was done that way because the halogen light bulb that was inside of those things was literally only 12 inches long. And everyone was buying GE light bulbs or whatever bulbs were. And you weren't going to get a custom-made glass light bulb, 1500 watt light or whatever. So as companies had iterated technologies, they built all these LED brow lights and scene lights that looked like the halogen lights. But that's not the optimal shape because you have all that light packed into one area. It's too bright when you're looking at it. So as we entered the market, I was like, I wonder why. Christmas ham story. What's the underlying reason? Oh, it's because the light bulb's this length. I'm not going to take that as a design constraint. So the FireTech Brow Light is on every vehicle in this trade show has a FireTech Brow Light on it, a linear extruded forward-facing scene light. And nobody had ever done that before, but it took asking the question and realizing that the underlying reason that lights were shaped the way they were was because of a light bulb we didn't use anymore. And so we just threw that out the window. And people say change, firefighters hate change, firefighters hate change. 90% of the fire trucks built in the U.S. today have a linear extruded scene light on the front of them. We were the first in the market to do it, and it was because I was willing to ask the question. Everybody else then just copied us, and I think it's flattering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'll take that compliment.
Exactly. I'm like, what? Actually, it was funny. So one year, one of these lighting manufacturers literally built a temple at FDIC and had like these copies of our brow light all the way around it. And I was like, dang, you guys think this thing is so revolutionary that you built? And then this, like, my budget for the show that year was like $500. It was like, whatever, like a truck and a little light. And they built this temple that was the ode to the FireTech Brow Light. And people were like, damn, if you got those guys' attention, you must really have something. And so the FireTech product started selling like crazy that year. And
Went crazy.
So
Russell Davis, West Broad.
West Broad is waving.
Come in. We're recording, so you're going to be on the podcast. That's tomorrow.
What's up, man? How are you? Good to see you.
Good. Just jumps in. This is the Firehouse Kitchen Table. Russell Davis.
This is. We're just in the town.
Nuts.
Welcome.
That's a long
Glad
drive.
you made it.
Yeah, a lot of rain.
You got anything to
Yeah,
say?
a lot of rain.
People on the
Welcome,
podcast?
beautiful people. Come see us at SAFRE. We're one of our favorites. This is awesome. We got Keynote right here.
It went really well.
Okay.
Awesome.
You're
That's we're just
Was it like
recapping it.
high on staff?
That was exactly it. Yep.
Yeah. He started this with, I don't usually speak that well, blah, blah, blah. He was phenomenal speaking. Like, it was very captivating. He hailed the audience. It was awesome.
highs, lows,
Yeah.
lows that were motivationally low. Like, I mean, give you your why.
crying at one point. Okay.
It's on the Facebook page.
All right, I'll check it out. Love all you guys. I gotta go set up.
Go do it.
Catch you later. How cool is that? Hey, so what a great
Get your West Broad.
get to a West Broad, right? Look at him. Two of the four. Mine's at the house. I want to do turnout drill with him. Can somebody pull up the questions? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Can anybody do that?
Yeah.
So it's called a turnout drill. So that's a great way to end the show.
Oh,
So literally when we bring guests on, well, not every time, but some of the times if we have time, we like to do what's called the turnout drill. And we'll ask for 3 to 5, depending on how long, I don't want to say you take to answer the question, but how long I mean, let's just be real. How long you take to answer the question?
Let's go.
So you guess a number, or you give us a number, what, 1 through 50?
1 through 56.
1 through 56. And then that's going to give you the question, and then you answer it.
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I mean, if I know anything about turnout gear, let's go. You know?
Yeah. So give us a number.
Number 14.
Number 14. What was or is your dream job?
I wouldn't change what I'm doing now. Actually, I like working on the embeds. That is my dream job. I would not change. But the problem is I can't make a living doing that.
Yeah.
You know, you can, but it's you know, so I love that. This is what I would do. I would never change anything about what I do. Dream job.
So, and for those who are listening, you still do it.
Hell yeah, I do.
He's
I
still-
spend more on insurance to do that job than I make in that job. But I work 3 nights a month on an ambulance in Haywood County in North Carolina.
That's awesome.
I love it. It's my favorite thing in the entire
awesome.
world.
I love it. The purpose.
All right, another number. 28.
28. What's one skill you wish you had? That's tough for a guy that has a lot of skills.
Yeah.
I wish I was multilingual, like I could speak different languages. And when I was a kid, I started learning French, and I wish so badly that I hadn't stopped learning French.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I would learn Korean now. We have a plant in Korea, and I can't speak to some of our line employees, and I do through translators. But that would be one skill I would really, really like to be able to. And the good news is I could do it. I just haven't, and
To be able to speak to people.
I'm
So-
I'm currently failing miserably and keeping up with my Duolingo. So sorry, honey.
I mean, you know, ask Kayla.
Speak English.
No, I don't speak English very well.
Let alone.
Okay,
One more?
One more.
All right, 7.
Get with that one.
Number 7.
Are there beans in chili?
Oh,
Yeah, obviously, what else is in chili?
Thank you. Thank you.
Didn't they call it chili bean?
Texans say no.
No, it's a
Some
chili
people
pepper.
say that there's no bean, like beans have no space.
Texans
Go to
don't.
Wendy's. Ask
Yeah.
little redhead girl what she thinks. They obviously got beans in it. I think. I don't actually know. Ask Mr. Thomas.
Texas actually really should be, does your chili have beans?
I don't
Cook chili.
So
I
just rely on you to cook chili.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
I can cook turkey. Put a little oaky seasoning. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
There you go. I love
I got one last one for you. Just to
Yeah, go
round
for
it
it.
all off. If you had one message for the world, what would it be?
You can do more than you think you can. And like everyone's got more in the tank. And like if I've learned one thing, that you think you know your limit, but you don't know your limit. So like, yeah, keep pushing. And when you think you've got nothing left, keep pushing again.
Give him your quote this morning from Henry Ford.
If
My
you-
favorite.
If you think you can, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
You're right. And I think that that's a perfect quote to go with your message.
Yep.
Because you gave that this morning, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite ones. And when you said it this morning, I was like, oh.
You know, I had taken it out of the deck. Yesterday, I took it out of the deck and I rehearsed it with my guys, and they were like, "Where's your quote?" And I was like, "Well, it didn't seem like it fit. It was like a weird start." And they were like,
100%.
"Add it back in." So I literally this morning stuck it back in the deck.
And then he tied it in later in the speech. He tied it in about, he literally recited it. Yeah.
It was spot on.
They do good.
Man,
I appreciate it.
what a great recap.
Yeah.
Thank
That
you
was
guys. Yes. So thank you guys so much. This was spot on. A great revisit. We talked about having several people come back on the show. I call these God wink moments where, you know, we were here a year ago You come back on stage. We're here able to do this again. Thank you for coming back on.
I'm so thrilled to have been able to be here with you guys. It's a great group and a great place to be. And
We right before we were supposed to come on, the camera wasn't working, and then the bagpipe started playing, and then we went over and helped set up the booth.
that was great, by the way. It's actually
Now we can actually, and if you watch the episode, you'll see the camera shake a few times. The guys are still trying to get the carpet laid out, and they're shuffling carpet, and it's been a task.
But this is perfect, right? Like this has been such a blessing. So y'all got anything? Adam, the quiet guy on the end? No.
Yeah, and thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Thank you for holding down the good end down there. So I'm here so I don't get fined and to sell some seasoning.
There we go.
Anybody got anything else?
No, man. Yeah, keep it real so much.
So the guy on the podcast closes it out with the line, "Roll it, GG."
Roll it, GG.
Roll it, GG.
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out thecoolfireman.com for more. Thanks!